today I am going to show you how to turn a cheap cut of meat into something that is actually pretty tasty that you can grill. Sorry for the extra noise if it's picking this up. We picked some herbs and we got that drying right now in our dryer. So what you're going to need, I got a just under 2-pound chuck roast. This was 16 bucks. Got some Worcestershire sauce, balsamic vinegar. I'm going to use some cayenne pepper and some black pepper, 1 clove of garlic, and you need a Ziploc storage bag. The last couple times I've bought this, it wasn't in the paper. I don't know if people were complaining or whatever, but the reason it was in the paper is because when it used to get shipped over, if a bottle broke, it contained all the glass and it didn't destroy the whole thing. So I don't know if people were complaining that it wasn't coming in the paper anymore, so they started putting it back in it or what, but this one came in the paper. So let's get that top off of there. So probably about that much, about a half a cup. Then you're going to do about the same amount of balsamic vinegar. Let's get that in there. That looks pretty good. Come on. And we're going to do 1 smaller clove of garlic. That in there. And then we're going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne. If you don't like it spicy, you can leave this out. I don't mind a little bit of spice. Don't add any salt because between the balsamic and the Worcestershire, it's going to be plenty salty. Then just a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Steak opened up. So you want to do this a few hours in advance. You want to give all of this time to penetrate. I thought this was supposed to be easy open. I guess not. Well, good thing I got a knife, right? Alright. So, we got our roast out on the cutting board. And what I like to do is just take a paring knife and just kind of pop some holes in it, especially in the fatty parts. And we're going to grill this, so this is going to help tenderize it, soaking it in there. And it's going to turn an otherwise tough piece of grilled meat into pretty flavorful steak. Just for reference, I was looking at the chuck steaks, which are a nicer cut of meat. They're about half as thin as this. For the same weight of this piece of meat, they were like 28 bucks. So this is a lot cheaper, and we're going to turn this into a good steak. So what you're going to want to do is get it in here. Leave a little bit of air in it just so you can kind of mix it around. Make sure you get that garlic and everything all over the piece of meat. That's looking pretty good already. So now you're going to want to let this sit in here for, I don't know, at least 3 or 4 hours. After about an hour and a half, go back in, mix it all up again. And we are going to get a plate to put this in. Set that on the plate. And then we're going to get this in the fridge, and then we'll bring you back once we get charcoal going and get this out of the bag and throw it on the grill. We got our wood flashed off, we got our corn ready, we got our potatoes ready, we got just a little bit of hickory left. So we're going to go ahead and Get that through the grates so I can get rid of this bag. Here is our crappy steak, soaked in all of this juicy goodness. It should just about be ready to fall apart and nice and dark. Throw that right on there like that. Close the cover, shut your vent. Start your timer for 5 minutes. Don't touch it, leave it alone. It's been 5 minutes. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the steak, you're gonna rotate it about 90 degrees. Like so, and now we are going to set our timer for 3 minutes. Leave it alone. Been 3 more minutes. Now we are going to flip the meat over. Oh yeah, look at that. Now we are going to put their lid back on. We're going to set our timer for 5 more minutes. Alright, it's been 5 minutes. Rotate this about 90 degrees. Set the timer for 3 more minutes. Alright, it's been 3 more minutes. So this has now been on for a total of 16 minutes. Just because it's a cheap cut of meat doesn't mean you gotta cook the heck out of it. So we are at 120 there, so that's medium rare. We're at 140 there, so that's more medium. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this off, and we're gonna let this sit for at least 5 minutes, and then we will bring you back when we're ready to cut it. All right, y'all, it's been sitting for about 5 minutes. We got 2 different donenesses here. We got medium rare and medium. The wife likes it, well, she would prefer it if you just brought the cow over. She'd cut off what she wants and take the rest home with her. So we're gonna go ahead and slice this across the grain and see how we did. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at the juice coming out of that. Yeah, look at that. That is delicious. See, you can take a cheap cut of meat and you can turn it into something delicious. Now, let's go ahead and spin this around. We're gonna slice into the medium. See how this came out. Oh, even the medium's got a little bit of pink left to her. Yeah, look at that nice little fat line in there. Look at the juice coming out of that. That looks pretty tasty. So here you got your medium piece of meat. And then you got your medium rare. Look at how juicy and flavorful this is going to be. We're going to cut a piece off of here and try that right now. I promise you, if you buy a chuck roast and you marinate it the way I did, cook it for the 16 minutes on the charcoal, you're going to get the most flavorful, cheap steak you'll ever have tasted in your entire life. Hope you give this one a try. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And remember, never trust a skinny cook.